Mr. Secretary, do you have economists on your staff that can put a value on the amount of damage that was done to businesses from the looting and the burning from the rioting, not the economic impact of the peaceful protests in America are as American as baseball, but felony looting is not. Do you have economists that can put an impact, a value on the economic impact of those small and larger businesses?
I do have economists. I will ask them whether they have data that they can look at to do that and get back to you. I don't know the answer.
Okay. Why we have about, 130 billion we haven't dispersed through the PPP program, is that correct?
That is.
So it would appear we're going to have some money left over, is that correct?
It is.
I'm going to introduce a bill that I would like you and your very able, and I mean that sincerely, colleagues at Jersey to look at, to take some of that money and make it available to the businesses, mostly small businesses, but to the businesses that have been lost as a result of the burning and the looting and the felony rioting. I think they're going to need help.
We're more than happy to look at that with you. And let me just comment on the...
Pull that mic closer for me.
I said we're more than happy to follow up with you on that. And let me just comment on the extra money. As you recall, Congress gave us an extra $60 billion more than we needed, and because everybody was so skeptical that we were going to run out. So some component of this extra money we did not anticipate we'd be able to put to work, but we look forward to working with you on potentially repurposing it.
Well, I'm going to introduce that bill. We're drafting it now, and if we do have an additional coronavirus bill, I would like to consider. I'd like you to consider making that a part of it.
We'll absolutely work with you, Mr. Senator.
And I would like, if you could put some of your best minds, you and the administrator, to quantifying the damage done from the rioting. Now, I would envision that we have arrested a lot of people, our law enforcement authorities, who caused this, who did the burning and looting, and we're probably going to put a provision in our bill where the authorities have to go after them for civil liability, basically take their assets and offset the money that taxpayers would have to spend. But I would like you to take a look at that.
We will. Thank you.
And talk to the president about it. Number two, I want to cut to the chase here. If you were king for a day, what would you put in the next coronavirus bill, other than the idea I just articulated to you?
If I were king for a day, I'd say we should spend the next 30 days looking at a lot of different things that will be in that bill.
Yes, sir, but I know you've been thinking about them, and I'd like to get your general thoughts now of what we should be thinking about.
So I think that, one, we're going to need money for business to encourage businesses to rehire people, especially in areas that have been most impacted. So whether it's the travel, leisure, restaurants, you can't get hotel capacity back up to speed without hiring people first. So
what else?
That is an example. I think we're going to need to fix unemployment. So we knew there was issues with the enhanced unemployment, where in certain cases we were paying people more not to work than work. I think we've seen from the recent numbers that didn't have a big impact because people want their jobs, but we will have a significant amount of unemployment, and we're going to need to look at doing something there. I think we're going to seriously look at whether we want to do more direct money to stimulate the economy, but I think this is all going to be about getting people back to work, and we look forward to working with the entire Senate on this.
What about, and I'm going to try to be quick here, what about incenting investors to invest in the economy? capital gains treatment that would be relaxed, that sort of thing?
It's something we've discussed. My opinion right now is that the Fed facilities have unlocked the capital markets. There's a lot of liquidity for investment. That's something we'll look at, but I think we're much more targeted at getting people back to work, and I think investors are prepared to invest a lot of liquidity that they have right now.
Well, the Federal Reserve has done a great job, and yes, they have unlocked the credit markets, unlocked them, but at great expense. We can talk another day about the size of the balance sheet now at the Federal Reserve. But look, I think Jay Powell's a rock star. I think he did great. Final thought, a lot of the banks and the small business women and small businessmen think that the federal government is going to double cross them on the forgiveness of these loans. You need to be mindful of that. You also you and the administrator need to take some of those smart minds in your office, and you have plenty of them, and try to reduce that 11-page form to about half. And you both need, in my opinion, I'm not trying to tell you how to do your job, but articulate to the business people out there that the federal government is not looking for ways to catch the banks or the businesses who took this money in a minor mistake, so the loans can be turned into loans.
Yeah, I assure you that's the case. And let me just emphasize, in the recent bill, there was an extension from 2 years to 5 to 10 years. But I don't expect businesses are going to need to use that, because I think the majority of this money is going to be forgiven in the next few months, and that's our intent. And I would just highlight—
I know that, Mr. Secretary, but they don't trust us.
I understand.
And for good reason.
And that's why we're going to get the job done quickly. And there's also, let me just give a little pitch, there's a third-party calculator that you can put all in the information, and you can get the forgiveness forms done in 15 minutes. And as I said, with the new legislation, with the safe harbor, it's going to be even easier. So trust me, I've had people ask us about the Form EZ, Senator Collins and others. You know, I'd like to make this as easy as possible. We do have a law that we're required to work within, but I want to assure people that have taken this money, our intent is to get this stuff processed quickly. And I should have also mentioned, you know, we've been speaking with you and others, obviously, on the state issue, and I know you have potential legislation, so I should have also put that on the list, obviously, that we'll address on a bipartisan basis.
Think about helping the business people who were hurt from the looting and the burning. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.